Hey everyone, it's Brianna. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my #WifeLife series. On this episode, I'm just going to be talking to you guys about the friendships that I lost because of my relationship. I have a few friends that I lost, so I'm going to be talking about each relationship, how it ended, what the relationship was like, and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in watching, grab some popcorn and let's just get started. Growing up, I didn't really have any steady friendships because my family would move so much. So when I was 7 years old, we moved from Minnesota to Arizona. And while we were in Arizona, we lived in probably 6 different houses. We would move every single year up until I think I was in 6th grade. Obviously, I don't remember anyone in Minnesota, like that's really sad, but I was just really young. And I have memories, but I never kept in touch with any of my friends out there because, I didn't have a phone, I was 7 years old. So I never really kept in touch with any of them. And then when I was in 2nd grade until 5th grade, I went to one school in Arizona, but we just moved around a lot. I think I lived in 4 different places during those 3 years of school, maybe 3 different places, I can't remember. And then we moved to a different city, so I went to a different school for 6th grade, and then in 7th and 8th grade I went to a different school. And then high school, obviously. I went all 4 years at the same school. So it was pretty hard for me to kind of keep in touch with everyone because social media, FaceTiming, keeping in touch was a little bit harder. Growing up, I didn't really have one true best friend until 8th grade. Funny enough, my best friend in 8th grade didn't even go to the same school I went to, but she lived kind of near me and we played club volleyball together. So her and I, since we were in club volleyball together, we would see each other twice a week, and then on weekends when we'd have tournaments and stuff like that. And over the course of the club season, we became really, really close, and we would always go to California together. We have so many fun memories together, and we were just really close, and I would consider her like my one true best friend that I had growing up. And her and I, like I said, never went to the same school. Even in high school, she went to a separate school, and my freshman year I played on a different club team, but we still kept in touch, and we would go to California, and I'm gonna call her Chloe for the sake of this video. Basically in high school, before Jalen and I started dating, so freshman and sophomore year, I think freshman year we were still really close, but sophomore year we started drifting apart. Honestly, I can't really say for sure that Jalen is the reason we're not friends anymore, because I remember during the summer Jalen went to Poland with his family, and I was sophomore going into junior year. So me and Jalen had been dating for half a year. That whole summer I had free. I don't even think I did anything. Maybe I went to California or something. I can't even remember. At the time I was really, really bad at communicating. I still am a little bit, but I am definitely getting better and working on it. Jalen was in Poland at the time. He was there for I think 6 weeks. So he was there for a good chunk of the summer, and I think her and I didn't even hang out once. So I can't really pin it on Jalen. I could have easily hung out with her, My priorities weren't right, and we just kind of grew apart, and afterwards it just kind of got awkward. I remember one time she tweeted that summer, she was like, "You know who your true friends are during the summer," or something like that. The ones that hang out with you are the ones that don't, and I'm almost positive that was about me because obviously it was definitely really, really hard, because I feel like when you lose a friend, it's especially a friend that you were that close to, it's like breaking up with someone. That's almost how it is. I remember one time I told her something I was really, really passionate about, and she didn't really react in the way that I wanted her to. I mean, it's not her fault, but it just kind of gave me a bad taste in my mouth. She kind of was kind of made me feel like my dreams weren't, I wasn't ever gonna achieve them, and that kind of hurt me a lot. So I think after that, I just kind of stopped talking to her. And I know that's so bad, but I also feel if you're not losing friends, then you're not growing up. Her and I just had different paths we wanted to go down, and we are all good. Her and I are still friends, but we're just not as close as we once were. It's crazy how you can go from like talking to someone every single day and going to California with them, going on road trips with them, sleeping over at their house and stuff, and then like a year later, hardly even talking to them. Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the next friend that I lost. So this girl, I'm gonna call her Victoria. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, in 6th grade, I went to a school, and then 7th and 8th, it was a different school. Her and I were friends in 6th grade, and after I transferred to the next school, we didn't really talk or anything. I don't think I even had a phone at the time, so it would have been hard for me to keep in contact with her. Flash forward to high school. Her and I had a few classes together, and since we knew each other from grade school, we sat next to each other and just started talking a lot, and we became really, really close really fast. And I loved her so much. Our personalities were so good together. We'd always have so much fun together. And her personality, she's very, very competitive. And I remember she would say things about people, I remember she would say things about people where it's like, if she's not better than them, then she doesn't feel good herself. I don't know how to explain it. At first in our friendship, I kind of noticed it, but I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. She's just competitive, like she likes to be number one, blah, 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 which is fine. That's a great personality trait, but when you're We'll talk. Basically, her and I, we were really close like freshman year, but I remember our relationship kind of got rocky this second semester, and I cannot remember why. I remember we spent New Year's together, and I feel like after that, I don't know what happened. Like, I literally cannot remember. I'm pretty sure we didn't get into a fight or anything, because I'm not the type of person to really like fight with someone. I just kind of like ignore the situation and don't talk. So I feel like maybe that's what happened. We weren't texting each other as much. Maybe second semester our classes changed, so we weren't with each other as much. I don't want to say stuff that's not true. So I don't want to say like, oh, she was jealous. Like, I don't think that was the case really. I just can't really remember what happened. I think we just kind of drifted apart, which I'm really good at, clearly. Actually, we were in a class together. We were in English together second semester, because I remember this one time really specifically that really hurt me. Her and I were in English together, so I don't know why we drifted apart. That's so weird. Anyways, so we were in English together, and we sat like on opposite sides of the classroom. My birthday's in April, so this was like 4 months after New Year's. So in those span of 4 months, we stopped being friends. It was my birthday, and I went to school. She sat next to my ex-boyfriend, who I dated for like a month, and she sat next to him, and he told me this after she left, or he walked me to class or something, I can't remember. But he was like, oh my gosh, you will not believe what she just told me. And I'm like, what? She was like, oh my gosh, Brianna thinks she's the best person ever. She thinks she's the center of the world. And I remember my heart sunk literally to my feet, and I just felt so bad, because someone that I was really close to said that about me, and like, she knew it was my birthday, but she didn't say anything. I don't know, it was just really, really sad to me. Maybe the class sang happy birthday and she was mad about that. I can't remember what happened, but she's like, oh my gosh, she thinks she's the center of attention, which I don't even understand, because I was so quiet unless I was around people that I was comfortable with. And then flash forward like a month later, freshman year, I wasn't in student council. We called it Stugo, which is like student government, so that's just what I'm gonna call it. I was running for Stugo, I was running for secretary, and I was thinking about running for treasurer, because that's what she was. But I was like, no, I'm not that person, I'm not gonna do that, because that's just not who I am. To run, you had to go after school, and you had to like fill out an application, and we had like a huge meeting with all the people who wanted to run. She told one of her friends to run against me, to try to get me to not win. So she did. The girl ran against me. And while you're running for Stugo, you're not allowed to tell people you should not vote for this person or don't vote for this person. And I have multiple people that came up to me and told me that she was telling people not to vote for me. And that's illegal. I could have got her kicked out of student government and kicked out of the race, but that's just not who I am. I'm sure if roles were reversed, she would have done that to me and told on me and tried to get me kicked out. I remember I was so hurt by that, because I was so close to her and I really, really admired her. And then she was telling people not to vote for me, and she was just basically talking a lot of crap behind my back. Anyways, I basically beat the girl that she told to run against me. So I was in Stugo now, and during the summer we had a lot of meetings for Stugo. Our school got to hold like a Stugo day or something. I don't know what it was called. I haven't been in it in so long, so I can't remember. So we had to meet a few times during the summer, and for me, I'm really forgiving, so I just kind of I didn't forget about it, but I just forgave her. I didn't tell her to her face that I forgive her, because I don't think she even knew that I knew all of these things that people were telling me, and I didn't want to create drama and go up to her and be like, what is wrong with you, blah blah blah. Her and I kind of became friends again over the summer because, you know, we spent so much time together. We were in the same class and we'd always have to do meetings, and it was like only 6 people or something. You know, there was president, vice president, male rep, female rep, secretary, and treasurer, which is what she was. So there were 6 of us, and we'd always have meetings and stuff. So, you know, we had to be nice to each other, obviously, and we kind of started becoming friends again. But I feel like our relationship was really toxic because the previous year, I don't think I failed a class, but I got like a D in my English class because once I got an iPhone, it sounds really bad, but once I got an iPhone, I only watched YouTube videos like all day, and I wouldn't do my homework or anything because I was so obsessed with YouTube. Thankfully it paid off, but I'm not saying don't do your homework, like do your homework, but I wouldn't do my homework, so I think I got a D in class. And the next year I was in the same English class and she was in it with me. And I remember one time our English teacher was like, yeah, when I was in high school and middle school and stuff like that, I was really smart, I just didn't do my work, or like I didn't try, or something like that. She said something like that, and I was like, oh my gosh, me, because that is me. I was really smart, I was in all AP classes and stuff like that, but I just didn't do my work. I didn't really push myself to my full potential in school, but I remember saying, oh my gosh, that's me, and she was like, looked at me and she's like, no, that's not you, you're not a genius, you're not smart, blah blah blah. And I was like, I just kind of ignored it, like I wasn't gonna say anything. I put up with so much. There were so many times like that where she would say kind of like sly comments. Her personality, she was very jealous of people, so I think that possibly could be why she always said things where you're like, was that a compliment, or did she just tell me she wants to kill me? Stuff like that. She would always say that, and I just kind of ignored it because I was like, whatever, that's her personality. I have to deal with her for the next few years, so might as well be nice. I feel like sometimes we expect so much from other people because we know that we would go the extra mile for them, and they don't, and it's just really, really frustrating. I failed 2 classes that semester, the first semester of my sophomore year, and it's because I didn't want to do my work. After school, I didn't want to have to do homework and stuff like that, and I wouldn't write any of my essays, but I failed 2 classes, and she would kind of say things to me that were like, you're stupid. Not that exactly, but she would say stuff that would kind of make me feel like just because I'm not doing well in school, I'm not valuable, you know? And I feel like a lot of the kids in Stugo felt like that. Most of them were in AP classes, really advanced, really, you know, smart kids. I remember I got kicked out of student council because I failed 2 classes. And I understand that was the rule, you can't fail or else you'll get kicked out. So I knew it was coming. There's like 2 or 3 of them that I still like, but the rest of them, after I got kicked out, none of them really talked to me. The second semester of sophomore year, I just cut that girl out completely because I was like, Brianna, you don't need this negativity in your life. You don't need people who are gonna make you feel like shit. And I feel like when you're young, you want to be loved and you want to have friends and all of that. But when you're with toxic people who don't have your best interests at heart, I would rather not have any friends than have a toxic friend, you know what I mean? So I cut her out of my life, and to this day, like, I'm pretty sure she blocks me on Instagram. I don't even know. But we're just not friends, and it's for good reasons, because she was not a good person to me. I think she is a good person, but just not to me. And I feel like I lost so many more. Like, I hardly speak to anyone from high school anymore, but I don't think it was really Jalen's fault. I think I just grew up, and I think Jalen helped me grow up, so maybe it was partly his fault. Most of the kids were doing certain things that I didn't want to do, and they just had their eyes set in a different direction. I feel like in life, if you're not losing friends, then you're not growing, and I feel like it's very good to lose friends, even though it sucks. I'm really glad because I've found friends now who understand what my passions are, and they're very positive and they don't try to bring me down. And I'm really, really appreciative of that. And I'm glad that I've experienced all of the things that I've experienced in the past. Now I know what I'm looking for in a friendship. I have a very good sixth sense. Like, I know exactly when a person is a fake person. There have been so many occasions where even like with Jalen's friends, I'll be like, I don't like that guy. There's something off about him, blah, blah, blah. Those guys turn out to be the shady guys who they do untrustworthy things to Jalen. Let me read you something that always hits home with me so hard every time I read it. You are not for everyone. The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, will point blank not like you. But it is also filled with those who will love you fiercely. They are your people. You are not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince them of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. True. Don't convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds, which will take precious time to heal. You are not for them, and they are not for you. Politely wave them on and continue along your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen this gift by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Yes, that's exactly what I've been trying to say. So even though like the story I was just telling you about Victoria, I don't even think about her anymore. I don't even waste any of my energy. Obviously I had to think of her for this video, but like I don't even waste my energy or my thoughts being like, oh my gosh, how could she do that? I would rather focus my energy into the people who I love and who love me than to focus on the person who did me wrong. I just forget about it. Like, it's not even worth your energy to think about. My chest is like, okay, Brianna, let's stop talking, turn on the fan. But anyways, that is it for this episode of #WifeLife. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you have any recommendations about the Wife Life series, please leave them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time.